Giggles podcast. Alright, we're just going to wait for Jono to get his shit together because he's...
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, he's not ready. But we are back for another episode. And today we are, in light of what happened over the weekend, we are talking about the CrossFit Games. As most of you should know, because this is a CrossFit podcast, most of you should know that the Games finished over the weekend, so we're going to talk about the Games. First off, we're going to get straight into it. We're not going to... There'll be some spoilers, so if you haven't watched the Games, I recommend you go watch the Games before you listen to this, because there will be spoilers.
Hang on. If you haven't watched the Games...
Because this will be airing on Thursday, that's... Shame on you. Shame on you.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing with your life? Don't pretend your full-time job's going to distract you from this.
But I also remember somebody else saying that they don't even watch the Games. They just look at the leaderboard.
Yeah, I wake up and look at the leaderboard. I get excited about it.
No, I do not condone that sort of activity.
That's okay. You do you. I'll do me. That's fine.
The first thing I did as soon as, because when do they start? Thursday?
Wow. Thursday.
No, like for us. So it was there Wednesday, wasn't it? It was the first.
Yeah, it would be Thursday night.
Yeah, sorry.
11 p.m.
Yeah, so there Thursday, sorry. So Friday morning, when I woke up, the first thing I did was zombie, put the Games on, and then just watch the Games. I'm like, I'm not getting on my phone. I'm not looking at any leaderboards. I'm watching event by event by event. and then
Wait.
at the very...
That's just bold, light underline. Event.
We're going to get cancelled. But yeah, so I'd watch them like one by one, and then once I've finished it, then I'll jump on the leaderboard and kind of not study, but like evaluate the leaderboard from there. Because they only give you like the top 10. They never actually, on the live streams, they don't show you the whole leaderboard.
Yeah, because let's be honest. Like, what have they said ages ago? Like, unless you're watching your family member, you don't watch anything but the last heat or anything but Matt Fraser.
Heat. I watch every heat.
Do you? Really?
Yeah. Yep. That's like half the time. I didn't finish watching the Games until like 3 o'clock some days. Because I'll sit there and watch. Yeah, I watch it all, mate. I'm a froth fitter.
Insane.
I'm a froth fitter. I watch it all.
Okay,
yeah, Mike Tyson. Nah, I wanted to watch everyone.
No, that's cool. See, I only just watch the people I care about and then the last heat.
And you call yourself a froth fitter?
No, I just care about the people I care about.
Nah, I watch them all. I care about them all. But yeah, I'll wait all year. I wait all year to watch the Games. So, I mean, I may as well watch them all.
Yeah. Doesn't train CrossFit, but will froth over the CrossFit Games.
You know it. Supporter through and through. So, what was your favourite event to watch?
My favourite event to watch. Oh, that's such a tough one. I think probably the intensity of Helena, however you want to call it.
I don't know.
Just the intensity of it, man. Those runs were quick. There's obviously the muscle ups are unbroken, and they literally just gripped and ripped that dumbbell. So that was really cool to watch. But I think the funnest one to watch was the pig flip one.
Yeah.
Just because of the pig.
I liked I can't remember what they called it, but it was the 5 rounds of 7 ring muscle ups and the event where old matey broke his bloody foot.
Yeah. That was a cool one.
That was a cool one. I think it wasn't quite as good to watch. I thought it was like better on paper. That would have been an event that I would love to actually do. Just that kind of combination of things. I reckon that would have been, that would be a sick event to try and do. But to try and get logs at 4 foot, 5 foot, and 5.5 foot, it might be a bit of a stretch to get that set up. But
you could do it with the boxes though, right? You could set them up.
Same as like the hay bale one that they did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that'd be cool actually.
I reckon that would be like, I just think that'd be a fun event to actually do. So I enjoyed watching that one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely doing Helena or Helen, whatever, would not be a fun event to do. Like that's a pain cave event.
Yeah, which typically you don't really see those style of events where it's light and fast. And the only thing there's no like yes, muscle ups are a skill, but for the CrossFit Games athletes, they're not a skill. Everyone's got muscle ups. Everyone's hitting those pretty much unbroken. It's a capacity kind of event. You don't really see a lot of them at the games, or if you do, it's like a 2 to 3 minute time frame where they did like the sled sprint, muscle up sled sprint. So like they're normally a shorter time frame. So I liked that style of event because you typically don't see a 22 kilo dumbbell at the games. It's
you do.
It's the games. It's a 45 kilo dumbbell.
You do see a 22, but it's usually the girls that are using it, and they're still ripping it apart better than most of the guys do throughout the world. So I think that was cool, though, because now like all affiliates can go back and do that and recognize how crazy fast those times were. Like, that was insane.
I wonder how accurate their 400-meter run was.
I 100% thought that too.
Their 5K was not accurate. Did you see that?
It's like 400 or 500 meters off.
That's 10%. That is 10% difference.
That's like that's a minute 20, minute 15 off.
Maybe for you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, probably 3 minutes for you.
Yeah. Mate, at the moment, it'd be like 10 minutes.
You'd be handstanding it.
But yeah, I don't understand how they messed that up by that much, but because I was watching the times and I was like, man, I thought I was slow before, but holy damn, like these guys are getting a 5K in like 16 minutes.
Yeah.
But no, they got 4.5Ks in 16 minutes,
which is still really good. It's not mind blowing. No. Like, it was mind blowing when I was like, they just did 5K that quick. I was like, I need to start running again. Pretty
much everyone finished it in under 20 minutes. So it was a handful of people that were over a 20. That's a 4-minute kilometer. Like, that in and of itself, that's a fast K time.
I think that's holding 14 and a half Ks an hour. What is it? No, 15K an hour.
Yeah, 15Ks an hour.
That's such simple maths, and I still got it wrong at the start.
But yeah, like, oh man, when I seen that, I was like, my best ever, and I will state that I don't know how accurate the actual loop was, because it was a 600 meter, and we did 8 laps, and then you did a 200 meter at the end. So I'm like, well, if that's out by 20 meters, 8 laps, that's 160 meters short. So I didn't know how accurate that was, but my best ever 5K was 18:40 something. And I was like, they're beating me by like 2 minutes.
For a CrossFitter, yeah.
I was doing heaps of running at the time. I was so proud. I beat one of my mates who's like, he runs. That's his jam. And I was like, I beat him.
You would have reacted just like that as well to his face.
I never let him down. I haven't let him live it down since.
It's been 12 years.
He's also the guy that we want to do an Ironman together. So it's going to, like, he's a slightly stronger swimmer. I'm getting way off topic here. He's a slightly stronger swimmer. I'm better on the bike, but then he's way better on the run. So I'm like, ooh, it'd be a tight race. But yeah, I beat him in the run, long story short, and I was stoked.
That's all that matters. That was the last thing, and that's when you beat him, so it matters.
But then got beaten by the CrossFit Games athletes by like 2 minutes.
I mean, they are Games athletes, so they should be really good at running by then. But yeah.
In theory, yeah.
We have digressed so much. And you're the one that wanted to have structure in this episode too.
I'm the problem.
It's me. Look at me.
But yeah. What was I going to say? It's gone.
It's gone. Sorry, sweet. Gone. So that were the favourite events that we liked anyway. Who was your favourite athlete to watch? Should we go guy and girl?
Yeah, I was going to say guy or girl. Let's start with the girls.
Favourite girl?
Nah, I'm going with the guys because we've got mine locked and loaded.
You're such a chauvinist.
Nah, I was not surprised, but really enjoyed watching Krenikov because I felt like if the events didn't perspire the way that they did and he didn't break his foot, like, you don't know how it would have ended. You don't want to take it away from Jeffrey Adler though, because he was in the lead after that event, and there was 2 events to go. So like, you're not trying to take it away from Jeffrey Adler because he's still the fittest man on earth. He finished all the tests, but it was cool to see how much at one point Krenikov was just running away with it. So, I hope he learns English because it would make it a little bit more exciting.
And also probably easier for him to actually do the workout correctly on the roller one.
Silly mistake. But yeah, it was, I think it's hard because the streams only focus on who's in front. So that's the one downside that I'll say about CrossFit is like they only show who's in the lead for the events. So if you were trying to watch another athlete, it's kind of like, well, you don't really get a chance to actually watch them because the camera's not on them for 90% of the bloody workout.
Yeah,
I was like for the whole weekend, I was really trying to pay attention to where Jay Crouch was because like super not surprised. Like I'm stoked because I think we talked about this previously, maybe not on an episode, but we talked about it. Was that he goes into Torian and he attacks like this is my event, I'm going for it, and sends it, and he'll like really attack workouts at Torian. But then previously when he gets to the games, you don't see that kind of fire from him. And I was saying to you that I really hope that he goes in with the same sort of mentality of like, nah, I'm meant to be here. I'm going to attack these workouts. I'm going to go for it. And it seemed like he did that this year. And he finished in top 10, finished 8th in the world. So
which is wild.
Yeah, nuts. So it's so cool to see the Aussies be more competitive, which is what we've talked about before. Him and Bailey Martin, I think he finished 12th. Yep. But it's like, you can't watch them because the camera's not on them. So like you can only you got to check the leaderboard at the end, which is frustrating. But yeah, I was really excited watching Jay Crouch throughout the weekend.
So I will agree with that. Actually, Jay, and it's hard for me, and maybe I'm obviously biased being in Oceania, but Jay and Bailey were my favourites. Man, they were so good to watch. Like. He's drinking mother again. Jay, obviously, because
Monster,
I feel like,
by the way, not mother.
Oh, it's the same thing. Rubbish.
Mate, they were the sponsor at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah,
so
and they put water in the cans. They literally put water in the cans.
I'm just supporting, mate. I'm a supporter.
You're not a supporter. You're the problem. Right. Anyways, so being able to see, I didn't see Bailey train a lot, but obviously I was around when he was training a decent amount, and so it was cool just to see like all the hard work he'd put in, like come out and actually happen.
Yeah.
At the games, which was sick. And then Jay, not everyone, but I'm assuming a lot of people knew that he had the potential to finish where he did this year in previous years. I just think whether it was his mindset or his actual preparation, it was different this year.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. Just seeing them like attack it, seeing them know, even with Bailey, watching him do Helena, he would do like the run and he'd kind of, not coast, but he'd back off a little bit and then come to the muscle ups and the snatches. He'd just be like, boom, just smash it. Because he knew that that's where he could catch up. So just that, the mindset, the tactics, strategies, everything was really cool to watch.
It was cool to see them because they looked at home. Like they looked comfortable there. It wasn't like they were like in too deep.
No, they deserved to be there.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
Man, it was so sick. All right,
Women's side. I was, same again, like it's the problem that you can't watch the people that you want to watch, because I was trying to watch Ellie Turner. I'm so bummed that how that like panned out for her. Injury and but I was trying to watch Ellie Turner because she's one of my favourites. But then... That's not a Monster. You need to be drinking Monster.
It's orange juice, mate. Vertical diet.
Ew, yuck. So I was really, same again, not surprised, but Emma Lawson, she smashed it. So she was one of my favourites going in. She's one of the girls that I had picked for the podium, so eyes were on her from the start. And I'm just, her mindset at that age is insane.
What, because she didn't pull out? She didn't quit?
Zing! Oh, going right for the throat.
I don't know what you're talking
about. Just like the way that she attacked it, and then like so she lost leader's jersey, and then right in that next event, boom, straight back there again. So you know that there's certain events that Laura Horvath is going to dominate in, but that didn't slow Emma Lawson down. Like she didn't, like you can see it in athletes like when they hit a point where they know that they haven't got that event, and they kind of just switch off and they're not attacking the event just because they've mentally given up already, and you didn't see that in her, which was really cool. So, especially at that sort of age, it shows the mindset that she's got, which is exciting for the next few years, I reckon.
Bro, that's scary for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because she's, 18?
19, I think.
19. She got like 10
Young.
years before she's even considered old. And even then, she'll just be stronger anyway. It's going to be crazy.
Do you reckon Tia will come back next year?
I hope Tia comes back, and I hope she comes back strong, which I think she will. Do you know, fun fact actually, there was a study, I was talking to a friend about this. It could have even, no, it wasn't you. And they were talking about pain threshold. And the people with the highest pain threshold are women who have given birth. And obviously it's contrast or comparison, but that's facts.
Yeah, right.
Oh, because I told this one girl, I was like, I'm so sorry if this is going to insult people. We were about to say it anyway. I was like, getting kicked in the balls is more painful than giving birth.
Just ask like, any guy.
Yeah. Then I was like, because I've never heard a guy go, hey, kick me in the balls again. But I've heard women go, let's have another kid. They didn't find that funny. And then they told me about this research. And I actually was good because I got to learn something. But I still found it funny.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, though. Because, like, makes sense.
Mate, I've seen Hannah go through it, and there is zero chance I even want a taste of that. That's... I'll concede defeat.
Well done, ladies. Take them on for the team.
100%. Amazing. We're going to get cancelled now.
Yep, 100%. I'm ready for it. No.
But I do hope Tia comes back. I think she's going to be epic, and if not, she'll put on a show, which is what everyone wants anyway.
Yeah, she always does. I don't know. I reckon... I hope she comes back. But it could go either way, I reckon. But then she was saying, because she was at the games, spectating and whatnot, and she was saying that she was getting cold feet. Like, she was on the sideline like, I want to be out on the floor. So, it's a good sign. It's going to be good. It's like she's got everything to lose by going back. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I think with her headspace, she's got something to prove now as well. Again, that it can be
she definitely doesn't.
I think she does, because people, especially if Mal comes back next year, people are going to be like, ooh, who would have really won? And so if Tia comes back, Mal comes back, Laura's still there, Emma's still there, like it's going to be on, man. And that's when I think you'll be able to be like, all right, Tia is the GOAT, like 6 times, you can't argue that, but she then come back, and if she wins it again, it'll be like no denying it. Yeah. It'll be actually proven.
Yeah. Is that a plug?
No, it's actually not.
Who do you reckon on the guys' side will get it next year?
Man, I got no idea. Well, actually, I think Ricky.
You reckon?
I don't want to say it. I mean, Ricky or Adler. I think when it comes to the games, man, it's such an engine-biased competition. Not
Is
biased.
That just because of the events? Not tests. We're not doing it. We're not giving in to you, Bosman.
Yeah.
Why change it? That's so stupid.
Well, if you look, especially this year, like we had one pure strength event, and then we had like sandbags, and the sandbags weren't that heavy, like 200 pounds for the guys. That's like, it's not heavy.
Nah. It was a decent amount of reps.
Yeah, but still, like the speed at which they were moving that, you could tell like they were under control. It was the intensity that made that hard, not the weight. But it was mostly engine. But yeah, so it'll be cool to watch. But I really hope. I mean, I love Adler. I think he's my favorite person to listen to when he's getting interviewed, because he's just like, I wanted to win, so I won.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, he's just like, that's how it is, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know proper English, so you're gonna get it clear and concise.
I don't know. See, I reckon that the fire's just been extremely ignited for Krenikov. So
yeah.
I reckon it'll be like a repeat of last year, where it's a back and forth between Adler, Krenikov, and Ricky.
Yep. I wonder if Medeiros will come back.
After this year, it's not looking good. Well, and this is what I was talking about before, like the mental breakdown, like when people have just given up. In that second event on day one, he was not mentally in it. Whether like something had happened, because I know he crashed his bike on the first event, and that's what he was saying, like that was messing with him. I don't know whether that was a physical, like it was messing with him physically or whatnot, but his body language out there, you just knew that he wasn't giving it everything, like. But
Yeah.
there's obviously other things going on in the background as far as like recovery and whether he was injured from stacking the bike or whatnot. But that's what I was talking about before. Like you could see it in his body language that wasn't he. You didn't see that in Emma Lawson throughout the weekend, and that's yeah.
I also think as well, and this is, I mean, man, they're at the games, so we're technically judging people that would thrash us at any moment. Except for one event.
100%. While you're fresh, calm down.
Mate, it wasn't fresh, all right?
So Jono tested the repeat workout, the burpee box jump over, row box jump over.
It was beautiful.
He tested it while he was fresh.
I wasn't fresh.
He got a good score, and now
he's got an amazing
bragging.
score.
I should be at the games.
No. I didn't say that. I said, now all I have to do is get good enough to even try and make the games.
Yeah.
Anyways, but Medeiros never has, and maybe I don't know the proper history, but he's never had a bad event and then had to come back from it. Vellner has. Fikowski has. I mean, most athletes have. He has 1 or 2 bad events, and he didn't have. Now he's probably going to come back from this a lot stronger, and he'll be able to overcome that now.
Yeah,
but he hadn't had that experience.
2 of them. His worst finish ever for the first event, and then he beat that by getting his next worst event ever for the second event.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's
in
like
a workout
2
that he should have dominated on that peak.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's enough of judging.
I was just going to say something, and then
okay, you can keep judging.
No, what we would. It's gone now.
That's fine, because I want to point out something.
We were talking about the events, and because this is where I don't agree with the cuts, because if you look at the points difference, the spread from day one, first is 100 points, second is 97 points, I believe, it's 98, so it drops by 2 points, and then when they drop to 30 athletes, the point spread gets bigger. When they drop to 20 athletes, the point spreads get even bigger.
To 5 points. It's crazy.
If you didn't have the cuts, but you had the same placings, Jeffrey Adler to Krenikov, Adler wouldn't have made up the difference from the events.
Yeah, true.
So he had an 80-odd point deficit at one point.
It was 87.
And then over 2 events, he closed that gap. If you had a full field of athletes, the point spread wouldn't have been that big. He wouldn't have closed that gap. Mm-hmm. And this is what Brent Fikowski and Patrick Vellner have got, that affiliate for the athletes affiliate. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Yeah. But everyone, I think they had 75% of the athletes sign the petition saying that they didn't want cuts at the start of the weekend.
75%?
Yep.
Wow.
It could have changed over the weekend, but this was as athletes were coming through and registering and whatnot. They had, I think it was 70 or 75%. So and that was coaches as well. So they had a massive amount of support saying that we don't want cuts, not because of, you don't get athletes that get to do the whole weekend. It's it changes the scoring, and the scoring is what gives you your fittest on earth.
Yeah.
So it's not the fact that you have people that don't get to do all of the events. it's that the scoring changes, and then it puts more emphasis on the final events, which can be structured. So if you have a strength event in the last day, that's massively going to be an advantage to the strength athletes. So if you've got an endurance-based athlete that's sitting 3rd or 4th, and then you get a strength event, and they lose by 5 places on day 3 compared to day 1, 5 places is 15 points on day 1, 5 places is 50 points. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's
25.
25 points.
Yeah.
So if there's a 10-point difference, and over the like space of the weekend, it makes a big difference. So like they're the sorts of things where they could turn around and be like, well, if Jeffrey Adler, if we had a full field, he wouldn't have made up the difference, and Krennikov could have still won it. Or
still with a broken foot.
Still with a broken foot. So they're the sorts of things that I think they like. What's the point in making the cuts?
I think it obviously creates more hype around those, like the middle heats. I can see them that, like, I would watch the workout just before the cuts were happening of the heats of those that were on the line, because they were like going hard for it. Like, it was like they were trying to win the CrossFit Games because of it, and I get that. I also get that then they can put more exciting events on because there's less kind of logistics.
Yeah.
But you know what's a lot of logistics? Paying like 20 grand to fly from Australia to be there at the games. And you know what else is a lot of logistics? Paying like $1,700 Australian just to be able to compete at the games, and you still have to buy a spectator's ticket after you get cut.
Do you actually?
Yeah, man. So
Wow.
if you get an athlete, if you register as an athlete and then you want to go watch it in the stands, like in the Coliseum, you have to pay for a ticket, a spectator's ticket.
That is ridiculous.
Crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah, man. It's nuts.
And they still can't even get any fucking footage of the masters of their age groups. I was so pissed, man, because I woke up because they started earlier. They started on the 1st. So, like, I woke up that morning and I was like, boom, let's go. And it's just one camera on the far side of the oval, and you couldn't see anything. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Like, it was like, just get an iPhone. I mean, everyone shared it.
All of your fucking judges are volunteers. So you can't scream broke. You can't say, we couldn't afford to pay. You're not fucking paying them anyway. What the fuck? Yeah. That was frustrating.
Yeah. They're not even paying those that are making the documentary.
Really?
Like, well, no. Like, they've got... Sivan's doing it, and the Buttery Bros are doing their own thing, and they're just collaborating
They'd
with
probably have to pay for a media pass.
I think they got free media passes.
Oh, yeah.
From what Dave Castro said that we know of.
Bring Dave back.
He's back.
Yeah, no, but what did you think of the overall weekend as far as the test of fitness?
The events.
The events.
I think the only thing, and this is only because I love it, that they were missing was a swim event.
I was just thinking that as well.
That buries so many CrossFitters that they need to do it. They did they did a 5K run, and then later on that day, I'm pretty sure they did another run in Helena. Yeah. They could have just made one of them a swim.
You know what I realised? Yeah, you're right. They should definitely have a swim. They should have another element in there, whether it's even if it's like a kayak or a fucking paddleboard,
something in the water. Yeah, good idea.
But I think I don't like how, because I was half asleep and the games had finished, and then YouTube doing its thing, it's just spitting out more CrossFit Games events, and it threw one of the 2017 workouts out, and it was the repeat of the thruster double under open workout, but heavier.
Yep.
Heavy 17.5. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, you don't get this at the games anymore. You don't get just barbell cycling, grunt work, old, like, classic CrossFit workouts. Yeah. It's all gone to the wayside, and it's all, like, odd objects, heavy, and it's, like, not gimmicky, but and I understand it, like, because it just broadens the whole concept of fitness, that it doesn't have to just be a barbell, which I agree with. But doesn't mean that you have to go away from the barbell.
Yeah.
I miss those sorts of events at the CrossFit Games. I reckon that they are like such a good, I don't want to say it, but test, because they test, but they test like your mental capacity as well. Like, they're more than just a physical test of the barbell, because I don't know.
Yep.
I don't like that it's all odd object stuff, and it's all like trying to change year to year. You don't need to change everything, in my opinion.
No other sport does it, and obviously we're the only sport CrossFit's the only sport that talks about prepared for the unknown and general physical preparedness and all that stuff. But at the same time, football has stayed the same shape the whole time. And what happens is the athletes get better and make the game better. Yeah. And so keep it relatively unknown within parameters. Like pirouettes on a box is cool, but like that's just playtime. That's not fitness.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with that.
You want to see that? You watch Grid League, and there's a reason Grid League ain't popular.
I didn't like how I think that event is like it's borderline sports specific.
Like, we were talking about this, hey?
Yeah, we talked about that. I didn't like it played out better on stage than what it did in my head. Like I was looking at it at the event on paper, and I was like, I don't like that because it seems that it's getting so far into the gymnastics field that it's then becoming sport specific. Like, are you going to have to do the iron cross holds? Oh man, I'm sweating heaps. Are you going to have to do like iron cross holds or like you? I think you're getting too far into it, and that's definitely Bosman. Like he's a gymnast nut, which is fine, but I just don't see that as being an actual test of fitness. It's I know skill is part of the 10 components of fitness, and coordination is on there as well. So like you're testing skill and coordination and balance and those other things as well. But I just the
only reason
maybe I'm just too OG.
Maybe no. The only reason I would argue a little bit against it, as much as I think they're getting really gimmicky with the gymnastics portion, is that if you're saying it's too specific to gymnasts, then you've got to look at the barbell and be like, okay, well, snatch and clean and jerk is too specific to a weightlifter, and the run is too specific to an endurance athlete. So, but I think that's why they had those 3 components. Yeah. To then single out the CrossFitter in the middle to kind of go with what you'd learn in level 1 and 2 and 3 is that the CrossFitter will never win, but they will be consistent. And I'm happy with that. Yeah. All right, you go.
I agree with that. I do. But my also argument to the weightlifting side of things is we're not doing them in the same sense as a weightlifter would. Like what weightlifter would have 2 attempts at a snatch and then with the same time frame have 2 attempts at a clean and jerk. Like it's the same, but it is a little bit different. And we don't test, like you see a lot of CrossFitters press out a clean and jerk. So it's not it's not quite as sport specific. And then you're using it in different formats as well. So you do 30 clean and jerks for time.
But you also don't see a lot of gymnasts with giraffe legs upside down.
True. You could definitely argue against what I'm saying, but I feel like you're going to the point where it's like becoming a little bit too sports specific. I was actually super impressed watching the team events at how well everyone was able to hold a static handstand hold, because it was a 150 cal bike, and somebody who had to hold a handstand while you burnt your calories. Mm-hmm. If they dropped from the handstand, you had to stop on the bike and swap. And then it was 125 cal row and 100 cal bike. And I was blown away. Like, the majority of them, 30-second handstand hold. And I'm like, that is impressive. Yep. Middle of a workout, just be able to bust out a 30-second handstand hold. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, for those that are like... Yeah, those are like, holding your handstand's easy. You try and do it after you've been sprinting on an echo bike. Yeah. You try and do it because it's hard to breathe. Your upper body is completely activated. So you've got to somehow breathe more through the diaphragm, belly breathing, but then your core's on. Yeah. So you got to balance and breathe and not die and communicate with your team with a hell of a lot of things going and noise going on around you. Like that's very impressive.
Yeah. I was blown away at that. Because I was like, man, 150 calories, that's going to take my buddy ages. And then the first lot, they held it for like 45, some of them held it for like a minute. The person actually got off the bike before they dropped from their handstand. They're like, I'm dying. So it was the person on the bike that stopped. I was, super impressed by that.
Yeah, man. No, that was cool. The teams were very cool. I think, obviously, we don't want to go too much longer, but the teams event was cool, and I actually loved that Invictus won. Loved the Aussies. But it was just, and the Kiwis, but it was just Invictus weren't the favourites, but because they worked together as a team the best, they came out on top. Because they weren't the fittest athletes individually. I mean, they were up there. They're very up there.
Well, that's what they say. It's not a champion team not a team of champions. It's a champion team that'll win.
That's so deep. Should we finish on that?
Let's. I think we've gone a little bit too long anyway, so we'll
That
leave
was
it on
beautiful.
that. All in all, the games were good. I think they did a really good job of the test this year. The all in all. Yeah, I'm excited to watch next year. I don't want to wait a whole year.
I've already started rewatching it.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Cool.
Same as always, if you've got any questions, shoot down below on either Spotify, leave us a comment on YouTube, or DM us on Instagram, gains.and.giggles. And we're done.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Enjoy.
See you next week.
Peace.